Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're getting a lot done this summer like I am. Today I'm working on my camper. Recently I've noticed that when I go to apply the brakes with my electric brake controller, I just noticed I don't have as much braking capacity as I used to have. So today I'm going to be checking out the brake pads and adjusting the brakes to make sure everything is up to snuff. You're supposed to do this every 3,000 miles according to the manual. I'm going to be jacking each tire up individually, checking everything out. I'm greasing it up, putting it back together. We're just jacking this up to get the tire off the ground. You don't want to have your jack too far in on the axles because it could bend it. Keep it out here close to the end. The way I found to get these little caps off the hub here is just to take a pretty small thin screwdriver and just start tapping around the outside of this. It's pretty fragile, this cap, so you can damage it pretty easily, so make sure you have something pretty thin. Just work your way around. Once you get it out a little ways, it comes out pretty easy. Once you can get behind it, just work it. And then your nut is actually just sitting in here. This is like a safety ring here that keeps the nut from spinning. This isn't tightened down on the hub very much. It just keeps it from coming off. So you just work this little safety ring off. And it doesn't spin because it has it's a D shape, and the shaft is D shaped, so it doesn't spin. It keeps that nut in a position. And that's just hand tight. Alright, so you can just move the hub a little bit and it'll start bringing that outer part of that bearing out, so you can grab it so it doesn't hit the ground and get all nasty. Set that up there. Once you get that out, then you can just pull the hub off and you can see your brake pads. You have some dust in here, so I usually dump that out. So this is your magnet that is electrified when you hit the brakes. And I believe however much you hit the brakes is how much electricity goes through this, and then this grabs the hub, and which pulls the brake whatever one way or the other and moves the pads. So after a while, obviously these pads wear a little bit, and so there's an adjuster in the back here that you spin to adjust how much the pads are expanded to start out with. I think the pads look pretty good, so I'm just going to get some air and blow this out because there's some brake dust and dirt in here. This little mechanism right here is what you turn to widen this distance here between these brake pads and make them engage quicker. And you actually can do that through the back. There's a slot in the back here that you put a screwdriver through and you can turn that. So you do that once the tire's on so that you can spin it and know when you're getting too tight. I'm going to spray a little bit of lube on these threads because they look kind of rusty while I'm in here. So if these are really grooved up, or you got some serious grooving in here, you might want to consider having your drums turned down and new magnets, but I think mine still looks pretty good, so I'm going to leave it as is. I got my old grease wiped off of here. That's because I blew that dusting stuff out of there. Yeah, I didn't want it in the grease, so I wiped it down, and then I'll just re-grease it when I'm done. So ready to put it back together and adjust it. So this goes right back on with the washer on the outside. And you might have to move the hub just a little bit to wiggle it in there. And then this nut goes back on. Now I'm going to use this channel locks to make sure I have the nut tight to start with, and then I'll back it off. Because I want to make sure I don't have a bunch of slop. So now I'm tight. I'm moving the hub to make sure that nothing's like stuck and it's sticking out for some unknown reason. So I tightened it up, and now I'm just going to back it off till it's loose, basically. And that's where I'm going to leave it. And I take my D-ring here and I line it up with the shaft, and I put it on. want to make sure it's against the nut so it doesn't come off accidentally. Okay, now I'm going to grease this up. This will put grease in those bearings. Alright, hopefully you can see that and the camera's not doing something funky. It looks like it is kind of acting goofy. Alright, so to adjust these, through them slots, you can take a screwdriver and adjust that shaft. Hopefully you can see that the sprocket looking device in there. It has like teeth on it. So we're just taking our little cogs and turning them. So this is how you tighten it. You make those cogs go up and that spreads the brake pads. And these haven't been adjusted for at least probably 10,000 miles. So we got quite a bit of adjustment to do. And you want to turn that until the hub won't turn anymore. And then we'll back it off a little bit. We are about there. They're right there. Nope, we can't move it at all. So now we're going to back it off till it'll spin. A little bit more. There we go. Now it'll spin. So the hub spins. So that's about where we want to leave it. We'll put our little cap back on. We've already greased up the bearings. Alright, we'll put this tire back on and move on to the next one. It helps if you aim in a little bit towards the hub. Once you get it out a little bit, then you can get a bigger screwdriver in here and twist it and work it out. Get our safety ring off here. Alright, and just unscrew the nut. Pull the hub a little bit to work that bearing out of there. Use a screwdriver to get in here and get it out. Wipe the old grease off. When you pump grease in this grease zerk, it actually comes out that hole there, and that's how it gets in this bearing here. We're gonna lube our little adjuster up down here a little bit so it can adjust easier. All right, so everything looks good. We're gonna put the hub back on and adjust the brakes. Tighten this up until I start getting a little drag, and then back it off a little bit. Put this back on. I'm gonna put about 12 to 15 pumps of grease in there. All right, now we're gonna adjust the brakes. Same process. We have to turn the cogs on that thing, and we want to do it, we want to turn them up to spread those brake pads. And we want to do that till this doesn't spin. We are locked up, so we're going to go back the other way now till it will spin again. Getting there. There we go. All right, get this tire back on and should be good to go. So that's all I got for you today, guys. That gives you an idea how to go about checking on your brakes and making sure they're up to speed and making sure they're working well. Till next time, guys, good luck with all your projects.